Today, I'm going to teach you how to let go of any unnecessary tension from your piano technique for good. And no, this is not going to be another video about how to relax. If you've tried relaxing, you already know it doesn't work. First of all, pianists need tension. They need muscle tone in order to play. Piano is a heavy instrument. You need energy. And the second problem is that as soon as you let go of trying to relax, the tension creeps right back in. So I'm going to give you a much better solution. I'm going to teach you how to reprogram your whole technique so that the tension is not there in the first place. And for that, we need to do a little bit of recalibrating. You need to learn how to have strength in places where you need strength and how to let go of strength, how to deactivate muscles that don't need to be involved. For example, you need strong fingertips in order to play well, but you don't need tension in your arm, in your shoulders, in your jaw, in your neck, in your back. If you look at things from a neurological level for a moment, this is what happens when you learn how to play the piano. The movements, all the thoughts, all of your tension gets saved as a program in your brain so that you can reuse it over and over again, because it would be a disaster if you had to learn from scratch how to move at the piano every single time you sat down to play. So these habitual patterns are a great thing, but the issue is that anything we put into that program will stay. The brain doesn't differentiate between what's efficient and what's not. So whenever you call upon a program, it will include everything, all the good habits and all the inefficient habits. So what we need to do is clean up those programs. We need to unlearn all of the tension and then refine and make all of the good stuff stronger. And this is exactly what we're going to do today. I'm going to give you a very special sequence of exercises. If you do these exercises every single day, it's going to take about 5 to 10 minutes only. You are going to see remarkable results because these are literally going to transform your whole body, not just your hands and arms. For the past 15 years, I've been working with high-level pianists who are either injured or have performance anxiety, helping them do exactly this: reprogram their whole body and mind so that they can get back to playing, back to performing. And this work literally reshapes their whole being. So this is what I want for you as well. You can also have access to this vital information and you can start using it and seeing results. This sequence is born out of deep research into how the body is meant to work. I've studied healthy piano technique, Alexander technique, body mechanics, and because of my own experience as a concert pianist who had injuries and also working with other pianists who come to me with pain, tension, and also anxiety, I've put together these exercises in a very special sequence that works fast. So instead of just watching this video, take these exercises into your daily practice routine. You can do them either in the beginning of your practice or also in the middle when you feel like you're getting tense and you need a reset. So let's dive straight in. In order to truly transform piano technique, we need to get rid of all the extra and go back to the very root level. And at that basic level, there are only 2 movements that a pianist needs to master: how to lift an arm without tension and how to drop an arm to the key using gravity. This may sound simple and you may have heard this before, but I'm going to give you a very detailed explanation and plan for how to get there and how to do this so that you're using your body anatomically correctly. The floating lift that I will teach you will use just a minimal amount of work in your bicep, and the drop will be a complete release, which is the drop. The problems start when these basic movements start having disturbance in them, meaning muscles that do not need to activate start activating. So for example, in the lift, you'll be activating your shoulders, you'll be activating your back, your chest muscles, you'll be activating your neck, your jaw, all of these parts that we see so often pianists overuse that don't need to be activated. So the brain has to unlearn how to use these muscles as part of the lift. It's just gotten used to using these muscles, so these are part of your playing pattern that the brain launches, like we already said. So the one skill that all pianists need is muscle differentiation. So you can think of these exercises as spring cleaning for your technique. And if you're a beginner, you have an advantage because you will learn the technique correctly from the get-go. If you are an intermediate and advanced player, this will literally transform how your body works at the piano. And also, because you're stripping away tension, generally your nervous system will calm down. And the next phase is to talk about the gravity drop. So once you have lifted the arm a completely natural way, all you need to do is allow it to drop back down. So we are learning in the brain how not to engage your tricep, how not to engage the front chest muscles, the shoulder, in order to press down the key. We need full gravity, and that's the easiest way to play. It's the most minimal movement because it's not even a movement at all. It's letting go of movement. It's an inactive movement, it's a passive motion. So again, lift the arm up very slowly. Don't engage anything in here. Don't engage anything in here. Allow the arm to rest. Make sure don't push it to the side or to the front. And then just let the arm drop back down. This looks easy, but it's actually a lot harder than it looks because of the years of tension habits that most pianists have. So lift again, and then allow everything to just drop back down. You should hear a thumb. If you don't hear a thumb, it means that you're actually putting the arm down. So you need to allow it to drop. You can test it by holding your own arm up, maybe here from the wrist area, and then you just remove your own hand and it should fall back down, completely dead. You don't need any effort in this movement. So watch out for any kind of downward movement where you're actually placing your fingers down. And one more thing to look at in terms of whether your arm is free when it's dropping, you can look at what's happening in the upper arm. If you see a little bit of a jolt, a little bit of a shake, a little bit of reverb, it means that your muscles are free. You're not holding onto them, because as soon as you start bringing tension to this downward movement, you are going to see a very stiff arm. So you want this kind of a little wobble in your upper arm. And then once you've mastered these movements, you can start practicing them in a sequence. You do the floating lift and then a gravity drop. And obviously you would need to change sides as well. So I recommend working on one side first and then working on the other side. You don't want to do them both hands at the same time. That's not a great idea. It's going to confuse your brain. So just one side at a time. You can do this 5-10 times. Make sure that you're breathing. Make sure that you're completely free before you move on to the next part of the sequence. By the way, if you want to know more about how you can use your body and your mind efficiently, I have a completely free masterclass that you can sign up for under this video, or also the link is in the bio. So if you have any tension, any pain, any injuries, or performance anxiety, this masterclass is for you. Okay, and then let's move on to the next part of the sequence. Do not move to this part before you feel you've mastered the previous part. Watch yourself in the mirror, video yourself, because you will see a lot more than you feel when you're doing these exercises. We're going to do a floating lift up, go slowly again, and this time we're going to introduce a little bit of the shoulder joint. So you're going to take your arm into motion. But these movements need to be extremely free, and there is a catch here. When you lead from the shoulder, when you initiate the movement from your shoulder, you immediately engage all parts of the shoulder that don't need to get engaged. So what I want you to do is guide the movement instead from your fingers. The fingers and the wrist, this part of the hand is going to be the leader, which means that the elbow, the shoulder, also the shoulder blade, the collarbone, they will just follow your finger movement. The final phase of this sequence is about learning how to then drop into a playing position. We're gonna do that through another movement that's gonna help you. So the first part of this is dropping onto a fist. And I will explain to you in a second why we do that. So we're gonna go through the floating lift, gonna turn in the air, drop onto your fist, and then we're gonna neutralize the hand. We want the fist to be a fist shape, but a loose one. You don't want to hold on to the fist like this, because this immediately obviously tenses up your whole arm. So you need to be in a loose fist-like shape. Fingers should have a bit of curve in them in this position, so that you shouldn't be completely loose. And you're gonna drop onto the side, the pinky side of the hand. So that's basically what we want. And you want to turn in the air with no pause in the middle. I always liken this to a cat that turns around in the air and then lands on its feet. This is the movement. Don't engage the shoulder for this movement. So again, we'll do the fist, and then we're gonna explore another thing quite exciting. This is where things get interesting, because now we're bringing a true playing habit into the game. So what I want you to do is have your hand flat like that on your thigh, and then from there slide your fingers slightly into a curve. You want to be in a very natural curve here, nothing exaggerated. You don't want to be on your fingertips, so just a little bit like that, so you have that paddy surface there. And then from there, I'd like you to lift up your wrist with your other hand, and the wrist is going to be lifted only a little tiny bit, maybe 2 fingers can go under it. So you want everything here to be in a flowy, nice type of a position. So you want everything to flow here. You don't want the wrist to be too low, you don't want the wrist to be too high. You want to be level. This is going to be the playing position that you're going to drop on, and I'm going to show it to you once on this hand as well, so you see what my thumb is doing. My thumb is in a very natural position. It's not curving in any way. It's just lifting up a little bit so you can see that all the fingers just assume a piano playing position when you do that. Have a tiny bit of substance in the fingertips. So the fingertips are going to be the only part where I'm asking you to have energy in a way where the energy is activated. The other parts, the arm, the wrist, the hand, they will feel empty, they will feel light. They will obviously have intention in them, but they don't have to have tension. And now we'll do the final sequence of this exercise. So once again, let's do a floating lift up. We're gonna turn in the air, drop onto the fist. And from there, we're gonna do straight away another floating lift. I'm gonna drop onto the playing position. And don't engage, and make sure you're breathing, make sure that your sitting bones are still nicely in the chair, that you are aware of the room around you, that you're in a quiet mental and nervous system state. Don't be too much concentrated on what's happening in your body. Be aware of the room, be aware of that you see. All of these things help your body to re-coordinate without you getting too much engaged, because you can actually sabotage as soon as you start checking in what's happening. So just allow your body to work here. Bring the arm up, turn onto a fist, let it rest a little bit, and then bring the arm up once more and drop into a playing position. You may notice that you have quite a lot of habitual tension in your playing position, and that's normal because you have been playing for years. Your hands have been active at the piano for years. They've assumed a certain type of muscle tone and shape when you do a piano position movement. So now we are just unlearning all of that and only putting the energy into the fingertips. We will do a floating lift, turn in the air, drop onto a fist, and then we're gonna do another floating lift and drop onto the playing position. Some things to notice here. When people drop onto the playing position, there is a danger that the wrist stays too high. So I really wanted to make sure that when you're dropping, your wrist is at this level where it looks completely steady and level with the forearm and with the hand. So we don't want any angles here. It needs to have a little bit of space underneath. Fingertips are feeling the fabric of your thigh. Fingertips are active but not tense. Basically, it just means you have sensation. You're connecting to the sensation of your fingertips. And that's all we need. And the point is that these two movements need to feel similar. They need to have similar speed. They need to have similar energy. They need to have similar release. So what we don't want is for the fist to be nice and released, and for then the fingers to look tense. And we do the fist because it's such a natural motion. It is so much easier to release on your fist than it is into your playing position. So doing the fist first will give you a great reference point. If you feel like you can do the fist freely, but you can't do the playing position freely, you'll know immediately. You'll know the difference. So I want you to practice getting into a rhythm where your fist and your fingertips feel similar. Now, how to practice this sequence? Start from doing just the lifts and drops a couple of times, like I said, and then move on to moving the arm around. You can do that on one side first, a couple of times, then you can do it on the other side a couple of times. So always make sure that you do each phase of the exercise on both sides before moving on. And then the last phase is the fist and the playing fingers. So you want to make sure that you don't leave one side less rehearsed than the other. Always, always, always pay attention to your state so that you're not over-focused, you're not trying too hard, you're aware of the room around you, you are quiet, you're not rushing. So get to work with this sequence. You'll notice that it literally reprograms how you move. So even if you do these exercises a couple of times and then move on to your normal repertoire, your movement will feel different. Everything will feel different. Suddenly you'll have more gravity in your movements. Suddenly you'll have more release when you're moving from one note to another. So this works like magic. So truly practice these exercises regularly. Take that 5 minutes, take that 10 minutes to do them. And you'll notice as a result that you'll have so much more elegance in your playing. You'll have so much more speed, you'll have so much more power, because you're not stopping yourself from tension. And another thing that changes when a pianist starts doing these reprogramming exercises is that they start having more musical flow. The music flows more naturally because we're not forcing it through our muscles. So leave me a comment below on how you're getting on. If you have any questions, I'll be there answering your questions. Leave me any kinds of revelations, any kind of wins that come up when you do these exercises. I'd love to hear how you're getting on with these. And also don't forget to register for the masterclass here below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video where we will be exploring how you can take these powerful movements to piano. We're gonna start using them at the piano.